Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Todd Chrisley's son suing Tennessee County and Deputies. Todd Chrisley recently made headlines when he and his wife received an early release from prison thanks to a presidential pardon. However, another member of the family has made headlines for their own legal battle. Reportedly, this Chrisley has filed a lawsuit concerning authorities in Tennessee County. One of Todd Chrisley's sons has recently filed a lawsuit. Todd Chrisley and his family became known to audiences through the USA Network series, Chrisley Knows Best. Back in 2022, Todd and his wife Julie were convicted of a variety of charges, including bank fraud and tax evasion. However, the two were released back in May following a presidential pardon from President Donald Trump. Since then, Todd and Julie have been sharing their story with various outlets, including their own podcast series, Chrisley Confessions 2.0. Throughout their lives together, Todd and Julie have 3 children, Chase, Grayson, and Savannah. In addition, Todd has 2 children from a previous marriage, Kyle and Lindsay. News has come out that Todd's son Kyle and his wife, Ashley, have filed a lawsuit concerning his aggravated assault arrest in September 2024. According to People, the suit, which is against Rutherford County and 2 sheriff deputies, is for $1.7 million. According to court documents, the suit claims that Kyle was unfairly arrested and was ultimately punished for calling for help. Kyle's lawyer, Wesley Clark of Brazil Clark, PLC, also released the following statement. Our hopes for this lawsuit are accountability and change because no family should have to endure what the Chrisley family endured in this terrifying scenario. The suit claims the victim was arrested over the aggressor. As the lawsuit claimed, an angry mechanic showed up at the door back in September 9, 2024, threatening violence. Using his car, the suit accused the mechanic of ramming their SUV and nearly running Kyle over in front of multiple neighbors. It was ultimately claimed that the victim was arrested instead of the aggressor. As the suit continued, authorities were alleged to have disregarded eyewitnesses, overlooked available video footage, and ignored Tennessee's self-defense law. The suit also addressed the mechanic's claim that Kyle had stabbed him with a knife. Noting that Kyle himself denied this, it was also mentioned that a witness also denied seeing a knife at the scene. In addition, the suit suggested that Kyle's arrest might have been influenced by his family's status. As it continued, authorities allegedly appeared eager to arrest Chrisley. They were then accused of treating the encounter as an opportunity to make headlines by arresting a well-known figure. Kyle's legal team is requesting a jury trial in addition to $1.7 million in damages and legal fees. Kyle's criminal case is also still pending. The Chrisley family has rarely lived a quiet life. Cameras followed them for years on Chrisley Knows Best, showcasing their wealth, their sharp Southern humor, and their not-so-perfect family dynamics. But reality television can only capture so much. Behind the scripted one-liners and staged family dinners, real life was brewing, messy, painful, and often scandalous. And now, another chapter in the Chrisley saga has emerged. One of Todd Chrisley's sons is suing a Tennessee county and its deputies. The story didn't begin in a courtroom, however. It began in the tension between fame, small-town policing, and a family already under the microscope. The roots of the conflict. Life for Todd Chrisley's children hasn't been easy, particularly as their parents, Todd and Julie, faced public trials and prison sentences. While Savannah Chrisley tried to hold the family together, Chase often escaped into business ventures, and Grayson attempted to live outside the headlines. Yet it was Kyle Chrisley, the oldest son from Todd's first marriage, who found himself in direct conflict with law enforcement. Kyle has had a turbulent history, filled with addiction struggles, strained family ties, and brushes with the law. For years, Todd's relationship with Kyle was fractured. But as the family rallied during Todd and Julie's incarceration, there were whispers of reconciliation. The lawsuit now taking shape in Tennessee suggests that Kyle's life was once again pulled into chaos, but this time, he is fighting back. According to court filings, Kyle claims that deputies in a Tennessee county used excessive force against him during what should have been a routine stop. The lawsuit names both the county itself and the individual deputies involved, alleging civil rights violations, abuse of authority, and malicious lawsuit. Intent. The Chrisleys, always dramatic, described the incident like something out of a Southern Gothic tale. It was late, the streets of Tennessee quiet, when flashing lights appeared in Kyle's rearview mirror. What began as a traffic stop quickly spiraled into something far more severe. Kyle alleges that he was pulled out of his vehicle without cause, pushed to the ground, and restrained with unnecessary force, even though he posed no threat. Neighbors, awakened by the flashing lights, reportedly saw deputies raising their voices and acting with what Kyle describes as hostility rather than professionalism. The official sheriff's report paints a different picture, of course. Deputies claimed Kyle was resisting, uncooperative, and verbally aggressive. But Kyle's lawsuit tells another story, one of humiliation, physical harm, and a clear attempt to use his last name against him. Being a Chrisley in Tennessee, Kyle reportedly told Confidence, means you've already been tried before you even get to court. A family divided but watching closely. The Chrisleys are no strangers to lawsuits. From financial disputes to media battles, the family name has appeared in courtrooms more times than most. But this case feels different. This is not about tax evasion or reality television contracts. This is about personal dignity, physical safety, and the relationship between an ordinary citizen and the law. Savannah, now the de facto spokesperson for the Chrisley family, while her parents serve prison time, has already hinted that she supports her brother's decision to fight back. She has spoken openly on her podcast about systemic issues within certain Tennessee counties, alluding to small-town politics and grudges held against her famous father. Chase, true to form, has remained quieter, though friends say he's wary of his brother's renewed attention. For him, the Chrisley name carries enough baggage without more headlines about arrests and lawsuits. Todd and Julie, though unable to make public statements from prison, are reportedly aware of the case. Insiders suggest that Todd, ever the strategist, views Kyle's lawsuit as both personal vindication and an opportunity to expose what he sees as corruption in Tennessee. The legal battlefield. Kyle's attorneys have crafted the lawsuit with precision, citing violations of the Fourth Amendment, excessive force under color of law, and even potential defamation stemming from the deputies' public comments. The county, meanwhile, has lawyered up, standing by its officers and vowing to defend them in court. If successful, Kyle's case could bring significant financial compensation, but more importantly, it could shine a national spotlight on policing practices in rural Tennessee counties. The Chrisleys' fame ensures that this will not be a quiet lawsuit. Cable news, gossip sites, and legal analysts alike are already circling, waiting for depositions and trial footage. Some see Kyle as a troubled man seeking redemption through the courts. Others argue he is exploiting his family name once again. But for Kyle himself, this lawsuit seems to represent something deeper. A chance to reclaim control over a life long defined by addiction, estrangement, and public shame. Public perception and media spin. The court of public opinion is often harsher than any judge. Already, social media is buzzing with divided takes. Some users argue that the Chrisleys, wealthy reality stars, are trying to paint themselves as victims of a small-town sheriff's department. Others, however, rally behind Kyle, pointing to well-documented issues of abuse and misconduct within certain rural law enforcement offices. For fans of Chrisley Knows Best, this is just another plotline in a never-ending family saga. Some joke that if cameras were still rolling, this lawsuit would be the centerpiece of a new season, complete with Todd's sarcastic one-liners about small-town justice. What comes next?